that'll make a difference. It's like you've done this before.
I'm having to get used to that one. I'm not used to using that one, so we should be able to. Should be live now.
Okay. Just when so you can hear me on there, fine.
I can see.
You can see bars moving, and you're recording. You can see.
I am recording. Yes.
You can see my screen on it.
Let me see here. Let me change layout to.
Probably don't need to see me as long as you can see the screen. You good?
Fit.
Okay.
So I see you down in the low corner, but I see.
Okay.
No, actually, it's giving me a black screen up there.
It is.
Yes, it's giving me a black screen.
I wonder if that's because I changed your display setting.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see what's going on. HDMI. Yeah, HDMI is giving me a black screen. Well, if you just do it on that, if you just go back to the way it was,
You can copy it to there.
it should be.
Okay, we'll go back to where it was.
Okay. I see that on mine.
Okay. But you can't see this screen though.
I can't
Right.
see, no, so.
That's bizarre that won't pull over the.
That's my exact thoughts. What?
Let's try. Let's try something different here. Oh, that's not what I want. Test. Yep.
There it is, okay. There it is. Oh,
Yeah, I just lost it here now. So. It's like we can get one or the other working. It's just bizarre that
that is.
this didn't do it. So that gives you a black screen?
That's giving me a black screen.
That's strange.
And then if I go strictly by the HDMI, it's truly the black screen, which is just looking at.
Let me see if I can change the resolution. Fit that. That will bring it back. No. It didn't bring it back either. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's set you back up where you were. We should bring you back on over there. Okay, so I'll do this then. I'll just drag it over there and I'll turn and just control it up there.
Okay.
Can this move without messing anything up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It actually will allow you to come all the way over to here.
Is this mouse connected to that?
Yes.
Okay.
As is the PowerPoint, or the clicker if you want it.
Okay, that actually works. Okay. So you can see everything now in your recording.
Yes.
Okay, so when you log into Wix, you don't have access yet, but you will. You'll come to a page like this where you will only have one site. I obviously manage a bunch of sites.
Right.
So you'll come here to select site on the east side site, which will bring you to this. This page is your dashboard. You could probably bookmark this page to come straight to this every time. So this is the dashboard of your website. So you are primarily working with this menu over here. You will have much fewer options than I do, but primarily website content CMS is where you're going to spend 95% of your time. You probably could even bookmark the content management system, right? So this is the page really primarily where you're going to spend all your time. This is how you edit your website. So I've got your website pulled up here as well, just so we can see. So as an example, so like here's all, these are called collections.
Okay.
This is the collections of all of your content, which blog posts can actually go away because you don't have blog posts. Have to do that. Everything else here, I think you've got access to. Yes. So if you're wanting to add content or manage content on your website, this is where you're going to go. So first off, there's a couple of things here. So if we go to, you can ignore grouping collections. That's just part of the programming stuff. The site admin data, stuff you probably will not be touching often, right? But here's all your deacons. So this is where you can put in their names, their pictures, what responsibilities they have, right? That is what populates this page right here.
At the moment, we have none.
So, okay. So then this page we might just want to hide, for now until then, right? But eventually, right, it's the same concept, but same for your elders. Looks exactly the same. So you can change name and photo, right? And that will automatically update it on this page here, right? So you can see, for example, here, if I come here and just change Tim's name to Cody Chesser, just changing it right there, come back here, refresh this page, right? You see, that updated the name, right? So pretty easy. You'll never actually have to go into this web view to edit anything.
Okay.
You do everything from collections,
Okay.
right? So photos, everything as well there. So you've got deacons, elders. You won't need member downloads. That's something I have to build separately. Some of this I'll take away because
Well, you might leave that there just as, for us if we ever want it.
yeah. So I can leave this here. It's not connected to anything on the website at the moment, so it doesn't do anything. I'll show you that in a little bit. So website settings. So this is something. This is kind of just overall. So I'll show you the top part of the section. This is the About Us section here.
Okay.
So that text box on the About Us page.
Right.
This text box here, you can edit that text right here.
Okay.
This can be as long as you want, as short as you want. So this is where I was saying earlier, if you wanted, put something in here, see these articles for information, right? Come right here, and you can type other things in and add links to them. I could come here, I could put a button in here, and then I could link this button to a page, a specific sermon, or one of those articles that you uploaded, or whatever, right?
Okay.
Right, so if I come back here, let's go to our study files. Again, you've just got some of our old ones on here. I'm just going to grab this page. So I'm going to copy this URL into the URL for this button and save it. I'll save all of this up here with my save button. Says your changes are saved. Now if I come back to the website, to the About Us section, so you can see here's that, I just typed in, see these articles for more information, here's that button, that now takes me to that page, right? And you've customized that to your heart's desire. You change it every day if you want.
Okay.
Right, but that's what that is. So all that stuff you were talking about, wanting all that list of articles.
We can have those right there.
Yeah,
and
this is a full text editor, right? So you
Okay.
can add pictures in here. You can put some dividers in, make it look pretty. However you want that to look, right?
Okay.
You can fully customize what that looks like to your heart's desire. That I just have something kind of generic in there at the moment, but you do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
Here's the picture that's on that page as well.
All
So
right.
if you want to, you ever get a new picture, you want to update that, you can do that there too.
Okay.
I'll get to this other section here in just a little bit. Order changes, discount. And that's pretty much all for your admin. I'll tell you about topic requests in a minute. So, the bulk of your website is centered around content, sermons, Bible classes, articles, things like that. So that all again is edited here. So I showed you earlier. So like here's in your sermons. Here's that sermon I just showed you a minute ago.
Right.
You want to add a new item, right? Come here. You can type in the title of your sermon. We're talking about baptism today. Put your thumbnail for your sermon, right, that you talked about. It's probably the same one you'll do on YouTube, so they'll look the same, they'll match. You'll add that file there. Our video URL, let me grab a YouTube video. This actually will not work with anything but a YouTube video. Just go to YouTube, I'll grab you something off of here. Oh, it's logged in as me. It is completely logged in as me. Okay, that's fine. You get to see some of the videos I'm working on right now. Right, so in your content tab, same one you've got. Obviously, I've got different stuff here.
Right.
So here's a video, that we just did, or we're working on right now. This will be one of your sermons. You'll take that URL from the top there. Back over here, put that here. I'm going to put in my date. You can put in a time if you want. Times don't really matter too much on here, but you can do that if you choose. You can add topics, so I'll show you how to change what these are in a little bit, right? But if you want to tag this, right, I said this was a sermon on baptism, so I'm going to tag it as baptism. Maybe it's also about godliness, right? Whatever those are, and you can change what those look like. These are high-level topics that people can use to find things on the website. That is different than tags. Tags are strictly a search bar feature, right? So when somebody types something in the search bar, what would they type in a search bar to pull up this video, right? So we'll probably have baptism, and I'll type that, push enter, adds that, right? We'll say baptize, maybe also water, immersion, right? Whatever those are, right? That's what people will type in. This search bar right here will pull up that sermon. Okay. Books of the Bible, very similar to topics, right? If we're doing a study, maybe this sermon is specifically about the book of Ephesians, right? Maybe you'll tag it Ephesians. Any other book of the Bible is there as well. You put your speaker in here, so that's a searchable feature as well. If people are looking for specific presenters. And then if you want to add an audio recording, you can add that here, or the PowerPoint presentation. So sometimes people will ask, hey, can I get that PowerPoint file for that sermon? You can drop it here. They'll have that ability to grab it on the website.
Okay.
Right, and I'll save that. I don't have a thumbnail, so that's going to populate just a random thumbnail here in a minute, but I'm going to refresh more so I can see it. So here's that sermon we just added for baptism. So if I come back to our website, let's go to the home page. You can see here on recent sermons, here's that baptism sermon. We'll change what that default picture is, but ideally you would have put a thumbnail there. That would populate as well, so people can click on it here.
I like that default. Where do we find the authority for?
Yeah. So it actually pulled up one of our previous baptism sermons. That's weird. That's what happens when I use a generic name. Right, so what that'll do, right, here's the video that it would pull in. Pulls in name, title, date, or speaker date. Here, if there is an audio file, then people can listen to just the audio version right here. Some people prefer it that way. They never get used on our website, but we put them there anyways. Also, so by entering that line, that created for you automatically, right? It put it here on your recent sermons list. If we go here to videos, sermons, you will find it. Again, that default picture pops up, but this is that baptism sermon we just created. Let's go to topical studies and baptism. It automatically pulled it in right there as well. You go to book studies, and I tagged it as Ephesians. There it is as well right there, right? So it automatically throws it out to everywhere on the website where it needs to be, just so any way people are trying to find content, they'll find it. And that's true of sermons and Bible classes and everything. Bible classes, we've got structured a little bit differently. The reason for that is you kind of want to group your Bible classes together. So if you look on the way that will look on the website, I go to videos and Bible classes, right? Instead of getting every individual video, you've got the actual classes themselves. So, whatever they're titled, you've got thumbnails for those as well. So then if I click on one of these, there's a study of Genesis we did a couple years ago, then you can see then all the individual videos and each lesson underneath that. And so the way that works, here's your Bible classes, which you enter the individual classes, right? So this is the story of Revelation, lesson 9 was an item. There's its video. I've tagged it. Let's add a new item, right? We've got a new Bible class, right? Sunday morning, Bible class just finished. I'm adding it here. This is, our Genesis class, lesson 3. I'll click here. I'll find this is part of that Genesis class. Let me search for it because I can't go through the list. Let me spell Genesis correctly. Right, there's that class. So just so I can tell it, it's a part of that class series, which I'll show you those in a little bit. Here's the video. Here's the date of that class. And this, when I save it, refresh it here, will automatically pull in the thumbnail from the class that you've set up. All the tags for that class are already set up, which I'll show you in a second. Again, all of that is linked back to a different collection, which is your series collection. So like, for example, where's that Genesis one? The Genesis one is in this list somewhere. Right, there's Beginning of Victory, Study of Genesis, where I've got the thumbnail for that. And I've got, here's the Bible class book associated with it, right? A PDF version of the book everybody can use. Here's the speaker. Here's the tags that people will search that pull up that class. I've got that class tagged as Genesis, right? So when I come here to book studies on the website, somebody's looking for content on Genesis, they'll see there's that class right there because I've got it tagged as Genesis. You can also tag as topics, right? This specific class on Genesis isn't tagged as a specific topic, but you could. I've got that labeled as Bible class series. And the reason I've got that labeled as Bible class is because I've also got sermon series in here as well, right? So like I tag gospel meetings as sermon series. We can change it if you want to call it gospel meeting or whatever, but maybe, you're doing a specific series of sermons, right? I go to videos, I've got a sermon series content, right? So Ben, first of the month, does a sermon on our theme for the year, right? So that's a series of sermons. Here's a, gospel meeting we did with Brett Hoagland. All those are grouped together in series. So Bible class count as series, sermon series or gospel meetings count as series, right. And you'll tag those appropriately here. But again, this series collection just allows for individual classes or individual sermons to be collected into a group on the website, so people can find them as a whole, rather than like, okay, I found lesson 1, now I can't find lesson 2, I don't know where it's at, right? No, it's all one page. So that's Bible classes, that's sermons, that's series. So study files, this is where your articles will go that you talked about. So, right, you can put PowerPoint files of them or PDF versions, which is what the outline is. Put a title, a description. Then again, the same thing. Tag them with your topics or your books of the Bible and your tags, exactly the way you did everything else. And these roll up in these topics and things as well. So, for example, that one I was just looking at was tagged salvation. Right, so you can see sermons, you won't have blog posts, and then here are the study files, right? Those articles that you've tagged that are associated with that as well. So again, those will roll up into the same groups. You can put thumbnails in there if you want. You don't have to with these. It's not as important because they usually show up this way. Can't remember. Yeah. So on this page, you've just got title and description. We don't have thumbnails for these typically. But I've got them in there because if you search them, they pull up. It'll pull up it in a picture form. Let me see if I can get one of these to pull up. I'm gonna search for one of those specifically. Nope, that didn't work. Not sure why that didn't show up. thumbnails are there. You don't have to do that as much. Let's see, that field's not going to be there for you because I do something different with it. Let's see. So I've showed you sermons, Bible classes, series, study files. Got member announcements, right? So may or may not use it. We record our announcements. We don't stream them. So anybody who's at home, we upload them here. And then there is a page not visible on the website that we give our members access to. They have a link to it on something else. So it might be something like, eastsidedenton.com/member announcement or something, whatever we decide that to be. So they can see, here's just an audio file, we record it. You may or may not do that. That option's there if you want it. So people can have access to those as well. Obviously no tagging or searching for those. There's no reason to really. Those just show up by date on that page for those people. This, I thought I deleted that. That's not supposed to be there. Okay, so the last two things that are on here, the Bible reading plan, again, optional feature on the home page.
I can keep that.
Yep.
That's something that's
Yep, so this is driven by that content collection there. So it says today's Bible reading is John 7:13, and it knows that because in here it's looking up the date and just populating whatever I've told it Bible reading is. So you can populate that. You just put in, you can do it. The way you have to do it is you have every single day in here and then what that day is. So for example, this entire week we're reading Matthew 7 through 11. So I've got that populated for every single day. So you have the flexibility to have a different reading every day. If you maybe a verse per day or chapter per day, you can build that however you want it to look. That'll populate on that home page right here. And it auto-populates every day to whatever the most recent Bible reading is. So for me, I go in there, last week of December, add the entire next year, and then I don't touch it again for a year. Everybody can just see what this week's Bible reading is, or today's Bible reading. And then the last collection you've got here, that actually probably should be in the admin folder, but it's not, it's okay. Homepage graphics. So this is where you select these pictures that are here, and this is a scrolling banner. So right now I've only got one in there, but like if I go to West Main's website, you'll see similar layout, right? But this is actually scrolling, so I change this periodically to whatever's going on. Right, there's our theme. After 5 or so seconds, there's our gospel meeting coming up next week. So you can add as many as you want to that, and it'll just cycle through them. And you can have
gospel meeting coming up, so that'd be
Yep.
pretty cool.
And you can have links on them. So if you click on that, it'll actually take you to whatever page you designate for that kind of stuff. Most of these, like I think this one takes you to, I think, a Facebook event. Not logged in, that's okay. You can customize all that in here, right? So again, on yours right now, I've only got one, but you'll notice this is the old logo, right? You asked for me to change color,
Right.
so I need to update that. I've actually got it here. I can show you how to update that. Let me come and download the new one, because I'm not on my laptop. It would have been even quicker on my laptop. Here's your new homepage. I'm going to download that real quick. So you can make these are a specific resolution that I'll probably note on here so you can see what the resolution for these needs to be, because it is specific. All right, but I'm going to replace this. This is, I'll get to this, I'll show you this in a minute. I'm going to upload media from my computer. I'm going to grab that file that I just created, which is the new homepage header. Let that upload. Okay, so there's your new cover. Right, I put it in there, so it's already there. So now this might take some pictures, oh, there you go, that happened quick. Right, so updated. So is that easy? You want a new one, add an item. This I want to show up second in the list. right? So you can customize the order of how things show up later. I'm just going to title, the title is just for reference. Second picture.
Gospel meeting, I have that.
Yep, so you'd go in here, find your gospel meeting, right? I'll just grab the old picture for now, just so you can see it. If you want it to link to a URL, Facebook event, or
I would have
straight
it
to your YouTube,
I'd probably have it
Right.
linked to the PDF or the
Right.
brochure or something.
there you go. Right, so you do that URL. I'll save that. So now, refresh website. So now, if it worked correctly, pictures sometimes take like 30, 45 seconds before they update. They take a little longer than text, so we'll see. There you go. So now the second one's on there, and it's scrolling through it.
I like
Right,
that.
so same thing. And if you want, you can come in here. I can delete that second one if I don't want it. I've also got, this option is available on all Bible classes, sermons, everything. I can just hide it, right? Maybe I'm going to use that line later, or for whatever reason, I'm turning the gospel meeting off and turn it back on later, whatever.
Right.
Or sometimes, we use this a lot on sermons, where in the morning when I get to the church building, I'll go in here, enter all of our information for the sermon, but obviously it hadn't been preached yet, so I'll hide. For example, I'm going to hide both of these I just created. So now on the home page, it's either there. When I refresh, those two have gone away. So they're still there. I just have them hidden from the website, right? Once the sermon's preached, then I can paste all the info in and unhide it. Now
That'd
it's
be
there.
nice,
Right.
considering I get the outlines now.
Yep. So you could go in the night before, set all this up, and then all you got to do afterwards is drop your video URL in, and then unhide it. It's ready to go, right? And if you want, you can do the same thing on a Bible class. Maybe you go in and you set up the next 12 weeks worth of Bible class, right? We're the quarter started. You can set up all of them. They're all ready to go. Hide the ones that aren't ready yet. Week of, paste URL, unhide it, right? However you choose to do it, it's up to you. We typically just do it a week at a time, but that's kind of the same way. I go in early, type everything in, hide it all, and then just as the service is going on. So as soon as Bible class ends, I drop it in there, unhide it. At the end of Bible class, that's now live on the website. Same thing for the sermon. Same thing for member announcements, things like that. Somebody's keep popping back up. Okay, so that's really the content of your website. I mean, that's going to control pretty much everything. The only other thing that will be here, so like for example, you've got your live stream, which I haven't connected yet because we'll do that once we get you up and live. I think that's pulling in the West Main one still, which we'll change that. This archive streams button here, if somebody wants to find old ones, I did already link that, right? So that takes you to the live page. If people are looking for last Sunday's live stream or whatever, they can find that. Okay, so there's the contact us option, right? People can fill out this, send it to you. So anyone who we set up as an admin, which probably you, Steve, maybe all the elders want this, or at West Main, I'm the only one, and I just forward it to whoever needs it, right? If somebody sends a message, hey, I'm looking to talk to your elders about XYZ, I just forward it to them.
I may set the rule that if it comes from this website or from
Yeah, you could do that too.
that automatically
Just automatically forward on to them too.
There's
Yep.
sometimes that I don't touch my email.
Yep.
It's like the Saturday I cleaned out 1,500.
Yep. So you can choose how you want to do that, but people can ask that. There's also a couple other forms in here, and you can customize per form. I want the contact form to send to everybody. This form, for example, got a couple of these throughout the website of, hey, I'm looking for information on a specific topic. I can't find it, right? It'll send a message for West Main. It comes to me, and then I can go, okay, I need to go see if we have content on it. I can respond to him. Maybe I create a new topic on the website for it, whatever.
Okay.
But like that's there. I think on, let me see if I did it on, what I did on the sermons page here. Oh, there's one more thing I'll show you on this in a minute. Let's come to another sermon. Maybe I didn't. So it's just that one and the contact us, maybe the only forms I did.
Okay.
You've also got calendar and events built in here. So actually functions a little bit differently than the collections. This is his own section here in the menu,
Okay.
in your dashboard, and you can build out any events you want here. So kind of same thing. They've got thumbnails, the dates, times. Inside of these, you can put, information. I mean, you're always gonna have the same location, right? You can put times. People have the ability, if they click on one of these, to see, more information about it. Like I don't typically type information in here, but if you do, it'll add sections here for description, right? Here's what's going to happen. Here's our order of service for this event, or whatever that's going to be. That's all in here as you set up these events, right? You can have RSVP options if you want people to have to RSVP to a specific event. We never do that, right? But well, I say we never do that, right? We have an event coming up that's for single Christians, right? We do have people RSVP to that, just as an example. You have the ability there. You can turn off RSVP. You probably will for most things, knowing y'all. So like this event has it turned off, but you can do that, and then that all becomes integrated in the website. If somebody RSVPs yes, they'll get an email. Then they'll get reminder emails that event's coming up they RSVP'd to, things like that. It's all built in. It'll all happen automatically. You shouldn't need to do anything with it. A lot of this stuff you probably will not use. There's a lot of extra things in here. You can send out email promotions, which you'll have to pay for that ability to have the servers for that if you wanted all that. But for the most part, you're probably just going to use the overview, set up the event details. But I can show you what that looks like. Say we add a new event. Got a gospel meeting coming up. It will technically be an RSVP event. We'll turn the RSVP off, obviously. You can actually sell tickets to events on this platform. You're not going to do that, obviously. So just make sure you select it as an RSVP event. Otherwise, it'll start asking people to pay for tickets. You don't want that.
No.
People will get confused. So name, teaser. If you want to categorize, so like I've got worship services, special events, or upcoming things. Things tagged as upcoming will I think I've got it set up this way. Well, I definitely have it set up this way. So if you look at the calendar page, all events show up on your calendar. Worship services, upcoming events. This tab here is specifically just events, right? I don't want a long list of every worship service we're going to have on here, right? It's separate.
Right.
So that's why these are tagged differently between upcoming events or worship. Things that I have as upcoming will also show up on this section of the homepage, right? So people can see our upcoming events, specific things I want to highlight, have people attention drawn to. I don't know why that's spilling over into a second row. I'll fix that. But yeah, you can tag those. You can also create new categories if you want to do it differently, but these are the categories I've got programmed to show up specifically in places on the website. So any other categories you choose to create will only show up on this calendar here. They will not show up in the upcoming events list. So this is specifically programmed to that upcoming event category.
Okay.
You can feel free to do that. Do as much as you want, but just know it'll only show up in the calendar if you add extra categories. So here you can put, if it's a single event, date, all that stuff. Recurring events, right? Gospel meetings, going to have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday probably as well.
Right.
Put all that in. Physical location, or if you're only streaming something, which we never probably do, right? Put your address in here. Here's that optional spot if you want to talk about the event. Here's who's coming. Here's what they're going to talk about. Anything specific you want people to know, that'll also show up if people open that event and look at it. Let's see. So I will tell you a clunky thing about this, and I didn't create this. This is built into the platform. I hate it. Hope they fix it. But for now, just so you know, when I set up like a worship service, for example, right? I have to do this every January. I set up the next year's worth of worship services in the calendar. I'll go in, I'll do add an event. I'll do a recurring event that on meeting dates, enter it all in. I'm weekly, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., blah, blah, blah. I'll label this as Sunday a.m. worship. Whenever you create the event as recurring, it will create the event for every worship service through the whole year that you tell it, or however far you tell it to. So let me open that back up so you can see this. Repeating dates. Right, so I typically put January 1st through December 31st. I guess you technically could do the next 50 years on here if you wanted to, but I wouldn't for this reason that I'm about to tell you. Once you set those up, you hit create, it will create all 52 weeks worth of that event, or however you programmed the recurring event. But if you want to go make a change, right, you've decided, oh, we've changed our worship time. It is not as easy as saying change all 52 events. It has now created 52 separate events. You have to go edit each one individually.
Ooh.
So
That's why you don't want to do the next 50 years.
that's why I would not do the next 50 years, right? But if that happens, right, you can come in here, you can filter to, or you could search for, all of my Sunday AM. Here's all my Sunday AMs. I'll take all those. I'll cancel those events. I'll start over, right? If you have to make a change. I typically do a full year of worship at a time just because it's quick, it's easy. We don't change worship service times that often, so it's usually not a problem.
Right.
But I would just be aware, if you use the recurring, it will generate everything individually. I had to learn that the hard way. When I was testing things like this thumbnail I put on it, for example, I didn't put it on there. Figure I'll do that later. Had to go do it 52 times. Nope. I just
learned that fast.
deleted, started over, right? So that's just a little clunky thing,
Okay.
just to notice about that unfortunately is out of my control. That's just a plug-in to your website. And I think that pretty much wraps up everything you've got control over. So outside of the events, right, the calendar functionality, that's a plug-in I've brought in for you to use. Everything else I have built and coded. So if something's not really working exactly the way it's supposed to or you want it, I can customize just about anything else on the website to be what you want it to be. So now in the next couple weeks is your time to figure that out, because ideally we get it working the way you want it. I hand it over to you, and you should be able to use Content Manager to run it from here on. You should never have to call me again. Something happens, obviously call me. I'll help you fix it. But it builds all its own web pages, all that kind of stuff. So you shouldn't, you don't need me to help you build a sermon page every week.
That's nice, because I had to do that on the old one that we had.
Let's see. So I'm just going to run through every page of the website real quick. I've already kind of showed you most of them, just so you can see it. And if you've got specific comments or issues with anything, you can let me know. But here's your home page. Like I said, you'll have full control over this banner. For it to scroll through, you can change those. Recent sermons, it's pretty self-explanatory. Bible reading, I already showed you that. This is just kind of general links for people. Hit the home page, finding sermons, finding Bible classes, nothing fancy. Here's your events. It shows your next 3 upcoming events. It should be on one row. I'll fix that for you. Don't know why that's happening. It just by default shows the next 3 upcoming events, right? Whether that's gospel meeting, men's study on Saturday, whatever kind of thing you put in here. It will show your next 3 events.
Bible class on there?
Yep.
Sweet.
Anything you want in there can be there. It can also, there's a button, if it shows 3 by default, hit load more, it'll start pulling in more, obviously.
Okay.
And then people can go to the actual full calendar if they want to. So that's your home page. So about us, I've showed you this as well. You've got the ability to edit all of this content. I'll go through and fix all these typos where I've got it as 2 words. I already noted that. Elders, again, I've showed you that. You've got creative control over that.
Okay.
I didn't think about this section. If you want the ability to edit this text, I can give that to you. I have not programmed it yet. Same thing on the deacons page. It's just 2 verses just about the role.
Right now, I'll hide the deacon's page if we don't have it.
Yeah, we'll hide deacons page if you don't have those. But for now, this is static text. If you would like the ability to change it, I can give that to you.
I will I will probably get a screenshot of that page on my copy, and I'll let them
Okay.
review that, to see if that's, I mean, to me, are you
Yeah.
good with those scriptures being there? Okay, then we're good.
Yeah. Okay. And then an evangelist page as well, which you'll have the ability to edit name, pictures, things like this as well.
Okay.
It'll be in the content. Forgot to put it there. It'll be in this website settings things right beneath About Us. We'll put evangelist on there,
Okay.
so you'll have the ability to edit that. That's those pages. You've already seen the calendar and events page. Live stream page, nothing fancy here. This is just going to have your live stream, so when you're live, it'll be playing here. Times, again, there's the archive things. This will take people to to the contact form. If they've got a question for you, they'll contact you about it. Something else as well, I don't know that I can demo this at the moment. During Sunday morning and Wednesday evening worship times, a window will pop up here telling people, hey, we're live, join our live stream, right? So people who are looking for it, there's a quick reference, here's where it's at. People who are just finding your website, it'll notify them, hey, we're live, why don't you join us?
Okay.
It's kind of hard for me to demo that
Right,
for you
that's
at the
fine.
moment,
That's fine.
but
That's cool.
check it on Sunday during services, it should pop up. And it's just a link to this page right here. It'll just take them to this page.
Okay.
And we'll once we get the website up and running, we'll get your stream on here, and we'll set it up. It'll auto play on here, so if people hit the page, it starts playing for them. Because obviously that's what there's this page to do. Topical studies. I already kind of mentioned this, right? This is breakdown of content on your website. These, I actually don't know if I showed you this. On your content management page, let's get rid of that. Under grouping collections is where you'll find books of the Bible. You're never going to edit books of the Bible. That's not changing. Topics, if you want to add new topics, delete topics, or whatever. We can pause for you.
Hey, Mom. Hey. Okay. Okay. Okay, did they give any time frame? Or? Okay. Okay. Well, with kidneys involved, it's probably 2 weeks or so. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 All right. Can I call you back in about 30 minutes or so? Okay. Okay, well, thank you. I'm in the middle of a meeting about our website, so. All right, not good news.
Mm.
My nephew-in-law is going home on hospice.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
So, let's go back to.
Yeah.
Uh,
Shift of mindset.
yeah.
So topical studies. So this is what's populating this list of topics, right?
Okay.
You feel free to keep mine if you want them.
I think I will, and then,
You can come in here as well and hide certain topics if you don't want them, or maybe we don't have anything on this topic right now, hide it, and then when you do, you come make it visible again. You can add as many as you want here. So there's, in theory, no limit. So very similar to all your other pages, put in the title of that topic, search tags for it. You can add here specific sermons that go in that topic if you want. So like let's say this sermon here, for example. If I add this sermon and maybe I add this Bible class here as a part of this topic, this is exactly the same thing as going to the sermon page and adding this topic to that sermon. You can do it on either page. It's the exact same thing. It populates on both pages. It's just a different place. I never use this page unless I'm creating a new topic. Typically, I'm on the sermon page, adding a topic that way weekly. But you can do it here. Yeah, it cross-references. It's the same field either way, but you can do that. And then you can have a thumbnail for the topic if you want. These thumbnails for topics don't show up anywhere except for if you search a topic. Let me see. Your page isn't live, so I don't think the search bar is fully working yet. No. Once your website's live, that search bar will do something. Just doesn't do it yet. That thumbnail just shows up in the search feature. I don't know why you can't get rid of thumbnails, so I've got the option there. But it is optional for these. You don't have to have it. Same thing for your articles. Go part of this as well. These fields you're not supposed to be able to see, but you can't edit them anyways. I'll hide those so you won't be able to see those. You'll only see fields that matter. There's a lot of hidden fields that are just coding things that don't matter to you. You don't have the ability to edit them anyways. I'm going to cancel this, but otherwise you would hit save, and it would create that. It would automatically add it to this list for you. It automatically builds this page with all the stuff on it, right? You don't have to go create new pages. It does all that for you. So that is true for both topical studies and book studies. The book studies collection functions the exact same way. Come over here, books of the Bible. This is just one you will probably never change. But yeah, you can add series, sermons, all the stuff here as well. Same thing, cross references to the individual pages. You can do that as well.
Got a little bit of work ahead.
A little bit. Let's see, back to our website. So study files, so I mentioned this already. These are the articles that you put in, PDFs, PowerPoint files. Things that are not really videos is what's going to go in here. Again, I'll have to check. You can keep. I think you can keep all. I think all of these are public resources, anyways. That's why I have them on our website.
Okay.
So you can choose whether you keep them or get rid of them.
Okay. Let's go ahead and keep them for right now, and I'll let Steve and Don review them and see.
Yep. So y'all feel free to delete or add whatever you want to that, and that's in your content management. So videos, you've got sermons, which I'll just walk through each of these. Sermons, so people can scroll through here. This will infinitely load all of your sermons in chronological order. So they are ordered from your most recent down.
Okay.
People can also, if they're looking for a specific speaker, so let's see, I don't think there's the only sermon I've taught is the fake one I just typed in there. But people can search for a specific speaker. Here,
And that list right there gets populated by
the speakers that you've entered on the sermons tab. So you don't have to create this list separately. It automatically pulls those.
It pulls from that field.
Yep.
Okay.
So anybody we've put in, so there's the test I entered earlier. So there's that most recent one we just created that's fake. There's another feature on the sermons page I'll show you in a second. But for now, I'm going to move past it. Sermon series, right? So these would be groups of sermons, whether that's gospel meetings or just a series that your preacher is doing, whatever that is. Again, that was in content management in the series. These people can click on here, and yeah, pulls up all of the individual videos in that series.
What if it's not a video and it's just an audio file? Will it still be able to pull that up, or?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Do you have?
I have a lot of audio files.
So you want to pull in audio files too?
From our old
Okay.
gospel meetings and things like that. Is that okay? I mean, we could put
Yeah.
we could put them as thumbnails, but
No, that's fine. So what will happen? Let me see if I come back to sermons, and I'm going to take out the video for this one here. Right. So I've not entered a video. Let me drop an audio file on this one. Audio. I'll show you this window in a minute. the last thing I'll get to. So I just dropped a sermon audio in there, but there is no video URL. So it will show videos. Let's refresh this page. Probably will still want a thumbnail on it to avoid the default picture, which, again, I'll customize the default picture to something that you won't mind staying there, but you probably still will want a thumbnail, so it'll come up like this. It just says video not available, and then here's the audio file that's there specifically.
Okay.
So we'll have to think about this. For now I have it built assuming you will put a video on everything, but if you're not going to, then I may just need to change this message to be something different of maybe just something generic of video not available, and then whether that's coming soon or not, you don't necessarily have to specify.
Right.
So there'll be no video, there'll just be the audio in the event that you do that.
I mean, all the work that I've done on all the ones that I have on the old one, I'd like to
Yeah, that's fine.
bring over.
Yeah,
and
so we'll do
everything.
that. Trying to think, I don't think that will affect anything else.
Okay.
So that should not be a problem. And then you've got Bible classes, functions the same way. People can find the actual class. Here's the individual lessons, and so forth. And you will not have web series, that page will go away. And then the contact us page. So one more thing I'll show you that is optional, but you've got it if you want it. Back in our site admin collection for website settings. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to mention this. You can change the size of this banner here between small, medium, or large. I've got it medium. If you want to change the size, you can do that. Yep. So then the other thing you've got here are sermon topics, if you want to feature specific topics, right? So, for example, in October, November last year, we featured sermons on politics, right? I'm going to change this to one featured sermon topic. And why didn't the other field populate? These are supposed to be shown, huh? These are supposed to be there. That's odd. Yeah, so you can actually see it's already in here. So it's topic 1, topic 2, topic 3 of your featured sermons. And these are those topics that you've got typed in the other one. So I have 1, so this topic number 1 is going to show up. So now if you come to the sermons page, at the, let me refresh. Oh, actually I have to save this. Saved. Now if I come here and refresh, when people come to your sermons page, there's a featured topic on politics, right? Since that's the one I added. And then beneath that is now back to all the recent sermons. And you can have up to 3 featured topics. You know, whether it's something you always keep baptism right there or whatever you want, or just periodically throughout the year you feature something different. Or if you've got a specific series going on, right? You know, like we do an annual theme, so we've always got new sermons coming on that theme. Maybe you keep that theme there. Whatever you want that to be. You can add those there, and then you can also change the layout of your sermon page. Had a few people prefer it different ways, so right now I've got it in grid mode, which is my preference.
Same here.
You've got the ability to swap it over if you'd rather have it on a slider.
Slider
Which,
sometimes needs to be a little.
yeah, I don't like slider, especially on a desktop, but if you prefer it, here you go. Here's a slider with a very long scroll bar of all your sermons. Don't.
Yeah.
There if you want it. But
I prefer the grid, personally.
so the other good thing about your website, so that's all content of your website. Again, all content is going to be managed through content management system. The good thing about your website, it's programmed this way, is it's a responsive website. So let me see if I can get this to, so it will update the site layout based on the size of the user's device and window, right? So if you ever notice an issue, let me know and I'll fix it, but in theory, it should be already built, so it will, whatever device people are on, it will optimize for that device, right? So I'll pull up the exact same website on my phone, so like you can compare the two. You know, so there's the desktop, here's the mobile version, right? So it's a little bit smaller, so the events kind of just compress a little bit to fit the screen a little bit better, and every page is the exact same way. So even the menu pops up a little bit different than it does on there. It's all
Nice.
fully dynamic.
Okay.
The other thing, if you want this ability, I can make this available for free. It doesn't cost anything on me. I have our website set up. I actually don't think I can do it on yours yet because it's not live. Let me show you on the West Main. On our website, people have the option to, almost everybody's phone can do this. If you add the home page, it actually pulls it in like an app on their phone. So if I hit add, you see right here, basically created a West Main app, essentially. And so that'll load like this, you can see.
I think that'd be cool.
Internet's a little slow, there you go. So pull up like a little splash screen. And then it's basically your website just in an app form, doesn't have all the,
And it makes it a quicker,
The extra things, yep.
I like that.
yep, and so
I mean, I would use it.
all the features, all the same features are there, right?
Because-
People can go in and find sermons,
Basically, that's what
same
I've
thing,
done.
yep.
Oh, where is it?
Yeah,
I have
it's the same thing as adding bookmarks normally.
I
I've
have it
just
somewhere here for east side on mine, so.
I've just coded it so that when it happens, it takes away, you know, the URL bar, all the it's basically opening that in Google Chrome or whatever their browser is.
Yeah.
It's just telling it to take away all the browser user interface. So it gets rid of all that.
That's pretty, I like
It
that.
forces them into a specific app icon and the title and all that stuff. So,
I like that, if you don't mind.
so yeah, people will have that ability. I can't program that until your site is live, so that will probably come like a week or two after
Okay.
we get the site live.
That's cool, because I know I would use it, my wife would use it,
Yeah.
and I know there's several other people that are
Mhm.
a bit more tech savvy that could use it and be
Yeah.
willing to do it.
Yeah, and yep. So it functions like an app on your phone at that point, minus can't do notifications to it,
Okay.
which is a bummer. But
Yeah.
blame Apple for that, not me. I built the whole platform to be able to send notifications out through that, and Apple blocked it. They said no, so they won't let me do it. I could do it for Android, but I cannot do it for iPhones yet. I'm hoping that gets resolved, and I'll be able to add that. Yeah, they're getting a lot of heat from the EU on a lot of their stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping a lot of that opens up.
Yeah, you did, you mentioned something about, resolution size for that.
Yes.
For thumbnails and or for,
Yes. So all your thumbnails are going to be your standard. You can either do the 1920 by 1080 or 720, whichever one you want, as long as it's the 16 by 9. If I'm saying anything you don't know what that means, tell me. But a 16 by 9 for all your thumbnails. For your homepage header, I'll tell you this specifically. I don't ever remember. It is 2304 by 1100. Is the exact resolution of this. If you put in a picture that's a different resolution, it will work. It might crop it a bit,
okay.
right? So I actually don't know exactly how it'll handle. Let's find out. Here, I'm actually going to put, so website, oh, it doesn't, it's content management. I'm going to go to homepage graphics, add a new one.
Thumbnails need to be 16:9, 1920 or 780,
720.
720. So 1920, 1980 and 720.
Yeah, either one.
Okay.
So this is over this.
And then this is the, you said this is the
So
header
for
banner?
the, yeah, these homepage graphics, I just put a larger one on. Let's see what it does. I think it's gonna crop it.
24.
It cropped it, but it actually cropped it fairly well. So,
It's not bad.
so yeah, so it will crop pictures that are a different resolution. That one just happened to actually be one that fit, so it worked out well for that one. But the resolution that you are going to want to aim for is 2304 by 1100. That's why I typically use something like Canva for this, or Photoshop or something like that, right? That you can set the resolution.
Right.
Any scale of that will work, right? It'll scale it up or down, but that's the size that will fit well within that. And that's the same whether you set it at a small, medium, or large size in your settings for that header.
Right.
Doesn't matter. The sizing of the sizing resolution will remain the same. Let's see. I think that takes us to the end of
I really appreciate it.
everything. Trying to think.
I like that blue. I think my wife will like it too, so.
Looks way better than the red. I agree.
Well, the red seemed
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. Well, when I gave you the original logos, you know, I gave you the logos and then just put each one of them kind of in a random color scheme, you know, and I don't know, the red looked really good with that logo, but then when we started building it into the site, it was like, ooh, that's pretty bright.
Yeah.
So I figured, I told my wife, I said, I don't know what comments they're going to have, but I have a feeling the red is going to be one of them. And it was. It was your first one.
Yeah. I mean,
So.
that looked good, and like I say, we all signed off on that. We liked it,
Mm-hmm.
but you know.
Yep. So I'll do that, and I'll make sure that blue gets populated throughout the whole site. I didn't even check to see if it did.
I have faith in it.
I'll have to.
This
I'll
one
double check
reminds
it all.
me, if we were a rural congregation, that would work, because to me, it reminds me of, like decob, or not decob per se, but, a feed
Oh yeah,
logo.
I could see that.
I grew up in kind of farming area, so that
Yeah.
kind of pops out to me.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it,
Yeah.
sir.
Well, any other questions or points of feedback for the
No,
website?
I think you got me covered, and you got me covered on some YouTube stuff, so that'll help me out on that. I just need to finish, getting the passwords put in here for
Yep.
this one.
So let me go ahead while we're here. I'm going to get you added to this. So if you want, you can go ahead and start populating information.
Okay, I'm signing up right now.
Okay.
Save my password for sure. For myself, my business, or a friend, for myself.
So you're going to need content management. Editor.
Escape to dashboard. Thank you for being here, Don.
Alright. And what is your email address?
Mine,
Yep. GSQUARE40 @gmail.com. Alright. that all spelled right?
gsquare40@gmail.com. Correct.
Alright. So you'll get an email invite that will allow you, don't care about that. So you should, let's double check, make sure you've got access to what you need. So once you get logged in, you will probably, once you get logged in, you'll probably have to go to your email and accept this invite.
Yeah, that's what I'm logged in. I'm trying to get new mail, so I'm trying to get new mail. There it is, right
And
there.
I'm gonna also get you set up as the go-to for all of the form fill outs.
Accept invite. Accept invite. Gotta go confirm my email. Confirm email.
Is your camera tracking been working well?
Yes.
Yeah. I just noticed it is tracking. So. Remember we got that all set up.
Okay, actually, I think I'm at twice, so, okay, I'm on,
Okay. So
come
you
up
are
here so we can,
in. Good. So you've got website content.
okay,
So CMS. That's where we spent most of our time. So this is where you're going to spend 95% of your time.
okay.
And then you've also got the events option.
Okay.
So if you click on it, it should take you to the header page for it. Yep. So then you can add events, customize events, and we'll get rid of all of my stuff once we get the site live. It's just been I've left all of my stuff in there just so you can see the website working.
Yeah.
Um, so, let's see. Yeah, so sermons, Bible classes, that kind of stuff. You can go ahead and start entering that stuff in the content manager if you want. I'm just gonna I'm gonna leave a couple of mine in there still, so while I'm working on it, there's lots of things populating. I'm gonna get rid of these bad ones I just made. Keep some of these more recent.
Yeah, that'd be a good example.
Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of most of my stuff, keep a couple in here. So you'll have a reference. I've also got content here while I'm working on the website that'll still populate.
Okay.
And then eventually you'll come in and we'll delete these last couple ones. And only yours will show up. Same with series. Let's keep, stop it. Let's keep Bible class. I'm about to get rid of a lot of these though, so it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna actually do this tonight when I can think about it a little bit, which ones I want to delete. So I'll get rid of most of this stuff tonight, and then you can come in, you can start creating probably Bible class and sermons are what you're gonna do first.
Okay.
You'll need the series to associate the Bible classes to as well. If you've got questions about that, let me know. Also, you can go back and watch this video, watch me do it earlier.
Yeah,
So,
I will definitely do that.
but yeah, you've got access now. So,
Okay, so which page do you think I should I just bookmark, because I currently, I gotta go back in and change it, because I'm gonna forget what some of these numbers.
I think you got the wrong page bookmarked.
Well, that's the initial one I bookmarked.
Yeah,
so-
that's to like create a new website.
So.
And you actually just created a new website. So congratulations, you've created your first website. So head over here.
Okay.
You're on a different site that you just made, so you don't want to go to east side.
Okay.
Yeah, so that other page you bookmarked, you probably want to delete, otherwise you're going to start making a bunch of websites.
So this one I could, that's, okay.
Yeah, get rid of that one. And I would
Okay.
bookmark this one, which is going to be your dashboard
Yeah,
page.
let me, how do I delete? Put that one first. Well.
Yeah, you're on the right page.
How
Mike.
do I delete that one?
So, click, get off of that real quick. Click, go to all sites. And you'll do that right there.
Yeah.
And then move to trash. And then move to trash. Yep.
Okay. So
So now select and edit that one.
that's the one I want.
And so this is the page I would bookmark unless you wanted to go all the way to the content manager. You could bookmark that one.
Well, this one allows me to get here or here. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
you'll be able to see them both either way. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Content manager are where you're going to go most, but
Well, I'll do that.
you bookmark whatever you want.
I'll do that. CMS. Bookmark. Add bookmark. Edit my favorites, but I'll have to do most of my favorites. Okay. Cool. File files. Here I am. I don't want to try that out.
But yeah, you're going to get those messages for the first couple of weeks. They're introducing you to all their great features.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you have got access to basically everything. You can edit everything I showed you tonight. The only thing you cannot do is actually get into the website code, just because I own that.
That's
I don't want
fine.
you to break it.
That's fine.
So-
That's fine. I don't want to. I don't want to get into that.
So yeah, so you don't have access to the website code to be able to add, remove pages, things like that. As far as like the major ones, if you want to make changes to that, just let me know and I'll help you with it.
Sure. Sure. I am fine with that.
And I've got my list of things that you gave me that I'm going to work on. Shouldn't take me more than a week or so to get all that updated. And then you can talk to Steve too and see how y'all want to handle getting things live. I don't remember. I know we talked about some of this, and I don't remember what he said he wanted to do. But you've got your. Do you know who currently owns your domain? I think it's like Eastside Denton Church.
It's actually, yeah, it's this one right here. It's actually through web. It's through. It's actually through Web Hub or.
Okay. Do you have access to the account that owns it?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need it right now. I just want to make sure that somebody's got it whenever we're ready to go live.
Yes, I have it.
And so then Steve mentioned the possibility of wanting to get a new domain that was shorter. I don't know if that was a real desire or if that was just something we said, maybe we'll discuss it. So either y'all can purchase that domain ahead of time, or I can help you with it. We can do it through Wix, and I can help you with it. If you want a shorter domain, but you don't have to. The one you own currently will work fine. There's no reason to get the other one unless you just want something different. So, so the next time we meet,
Let me get this done there.
okay. So I'm gonna make all the changes we've talked about and just kind of clean, polish up a couple of things I even noticed tonight that were a little funky. And then I will probably just send a new preview version to you guys through email, just like I did last time, for you guys one final look through of whatever. You feel free to go in and add content, go change the content on the About Us page, anything you want to do. Try to break it, right? You know, break it now so that it doesn't break later, right?
That's what they do for that work. They say, here, break it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, and then I gotta fix it if you do. But we'll go from there,
Okay.
and then once everybody's good with it, everybody signs off, we're ready to go. Then a couple of things will have to happen. We'll have to jump on a call, me, you, and whoever has the credit card that's going to pay the ongoing monthly website hosting. Okay, and so we will need him there. We can either do that on a Zoom call or meet back here. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. But it'll be me sitting at a computer and you guys telling me credit card numbers, things like that, or you guys type it in. Doesn't matter to me how y'all want to handle that. We'll just have to set all that up. Once the website is on the paid platform, it'll be fully open, and we can link the domain to it for the URL, and at that point, it will be usable. The only thing, just for planning purposes, you'll need to figure out how y'all want to handle the transition. If it's just people will deal with it while you're transitioning, or if you want to tell people, hey, we're going through website transition, because first of all, when you add a domain to the website, it usually takes about 24 to 48 hours for it to start actually bringing people to the new website. So there's no turn it on Saturday at 8 a.m. and it works Saturday at 8 a.m. It usually takes a day or two. A lot of technical stuff behind why that happens, but it just does. I'll say from experience, usually it's up and running about an hour after I do that, but I have seen it take up to 24 to 48 hours for that to start working. So people will not have access to the website during that interim time of that transition if you are going with the old domain name that you own, right? So that's if we're transferring from the old site to the new one, there may be some downtime where people can't hit your website. If you go with a new domain name, then we can set that up ahead of time before anybody even knows about it, and then you can tell everybody, hey, our website's ready. Nobody even knew there was a transition, and then we can forward the old domain, all that stuff.
Yeah, we can always put on there, new.
So in that event, what we would do is we would set up the new site with your new domain, right? eastsidechurch.com, right? Whatever that short one is. And then once it's live, your old website will go into your domain host, and we'll tell it, anybody who goes to Eastside Church of Christ, Denton, whatever your old one is, it will forward them to the new one. So people who have the old one bookmarked won't even notice the difference. They'll just be taken to the new website. It's just the transition matters as to whether you use a new domain or not. Doesn't matter to me. It's just up to y'all how you want to handle that. So then, we can get your live stream up before that. The app feature that I mentioned about saving to the homepage, that'll take about a week or two after it's live for that to work, because that can't be coded until after your site is live. And then I'm trying to think. I think that's about it.
Okay.
And then the rest is just up to you getting your content on the website. But really what I would do is, just start putting them on there, and as you have time, add a few more. And, don't put everything on there without filling in your tags, right? Do it as you have time, right? That way, if people go to your website, you've only got 3 sermons on there, right? Great, you got 3 sermons, they fully work, no problem, and you just add them as you have time. And it just builds over time. I mean, it's the way ours was. It's just got to start it sometime. It'll be a little empty at first, and after a couple months, it'll fill up.
I can move over
Yeah,
from YouTube and from the old site.
Yeah.
I just need to fill in the tags.
Yeah.
And so those tags come with with this? So a lot of those tags that you have in there, they come with it, the topics and things of that nature?
Topics will all already be there. The books of the Bible will already be there. It's the only thing that won't be there that you'll have to do is the individual search tags,
Right, okay.
right, for every piece of content.
Okay.
So if you've already got those, there's a way you can copy paste those into the table. If you have those already, we'll figure that out. If not, you just gotta enter them from scratch.
Okay.
It's tedious, but it's how websites are built. So.
That's right.
So, I think that's it. So, I'll get this updated. You'll hear from me about a week with that, and then you guys decide when and how you want to meet and how you want to move forward. So, I think the domain is the only thing that you need to make a decision on,
Okay.
and then you'll need to make a decision on these as well. Maybe Steve may have already picked that one, or you picked that one. I don't know.
I think we went with the,
Let me actually make sure that hasn't changed since they changed their plans frequently. Let me make sure that hadn't changed. Let's see, pricing for East Side. So we got basic at 19, standard at 27, plus at 34. Is that what I had on there?
19, 27, 34.
Yeah, and there's higher ones, but you don't need the higher ones. So just got to make a decision on what you guys want there. The real differences here. So the amount of content items, you're a long ways away from getting to 1,500 content. So any line item in your content management system, individual Bible class, individual sermon, that counts as one of these, right? So you're a ways from hitting 1,500. I don't even know if I've hit 1,500 on ours.
Okay.
But that's something to consider there. You can always start here, upgrade later if you hit that. The collaborators, so as of now, you are a collaborator on the
Okay.
website. If you guys want to add another one, you can, on this plan, you can only add one more person. Now, that being said, we can still add emails to get notifications for the forms. That's all fine. We can add whoever you want to get notified. But
Okay.
as far as people being able to access the site, manage the content, right now, that plan is up to 2. And then I doubt you'll ever hit 10 gigabytes of storage. All you're doing is uploading JPEGs and audio files. It's gonna take you a while to get to 10 gig.
Okay.
But all of those things, so your videos don't count. Those are hosted on YouTube,
Right.
right? This is just gonna be audio files, your PDFs for your articles, PowerPoint files that you put on sermons, the actual audio files themselves. All of those things count towards that total there. So
Okay, so all my old content,
all your old content will count towards that total.
10
So,
gig,
so
okay.
look to see how much of that content you've got. So, and then options there, pick a plan to accommodate that amount of storage, or if they're audio files, you could run them through a software to downgrade the file size, lose some quality, but on a speech-only file, you're usually not gonna have problems.
well, they're already
So-
all fairly small in that regard.
Yeah,
because
may not be a problem
I went
then.
ahead and did them as MP3s.
Okay. Yeah, so that's just a decision to make. The email platform plans, this is if you want the ability to send email notifications, right? You don't have a blog, so this primarily would be for a blog. But if you wanted to send out like a newsletter to members or announcements about gospel meetings, if you wanted to do that through this platform, it's there. There's just an additional fee for the servers for the emails. So
Right.
that's optional.
Right
I don't
now,
think you need it.
No.
I
think
would probably just stick probably here, depending on what audio files you've got, and then just upgrade over time
that's what
as you grow.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, in regards to the members only page, that may be something that we'll have to address down the road a little bit. We may want something like that, but, that's just something that we'll have to.
Members
see.
only, like what kind of content for that?
Well, like your.
The
like your
announcements?
type
Yeah.
of thing, but I mean, right now, I don't record the announcements, I keep it
Okay.
muted. I keep
Yeah.
it muted, and I have a screen that says announcements.
Yeah. So
or
that
not
page
screen.
is going to be there
Okay,
either way. I'm going to leave it there. There's no
Okay.
reason not to. just nobody can see it or knows it exists until you tell them about it. So I'll just leave it there, and
Okay. That
if
way
and
we
when
can-
you
we can
decide you want
implement
it, it'll be there.
All right.
I'll have to look. I'll tell you when we get it live. I'll tell you what it is. It's probably like your url.com slash. I think I have it like as just announcements right now, but we can change it. We can also password protect it if you want it, something like that, so that other people can't hit it. I don't have mine password protected because nobody can find it unless I tell them the link. So I don't really care.
Right.
But again, we got all those options. We can figure it out as we go.
All right.
So those are the only decisions I need you to make before we meet next time. So
Okay.
that way we can just roll through getting it live.
So in theory, I'll be able to get those answers Wednesday night.
Yep.
Steve
Okay.
here, that way I can get Steve and Don together. If not, it will be this Sunday when we have our men's Bible study. I can catch them afterwards when they have their elders meeting.
Okay.
And then we can talk about some of this too.
Yeah, and
So-
other things you could do, I guess, to expedite the process. You know, I'm gonna hide the deacons page since you guys don't have deacons. You go ahead and go populate the elder information. Go ahead and go populate the evangelist information. Get your about us page set to where to the content that you want it to be. All of those things that you want people to be seeing when the site goes live, right? That you already have control over. Get those how you want them.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming I will use these congregations as the churches, you know?
For starters, we
Yeah.
have, there's actually, no, those two right there are our streaming links.
Oh, streaming.
So
Oh, I
if
got you.
go into, links, I believe it is. And, most of,
Okay, I
so
see. Yeah.
Gospel Way, these.
You want a page with all these on them?
I think so. I think that would be fine.
Okay.
And then we can just add to it as we get more. And
Yeah.
So that way, gives a, yeah, just that whole page right there.
Okay. Cool.
And I can delete what we don't have or don't want on there anymore or whatever, so.
All right.
I mean, for starters, that's not a bad site, so. It has brought several people to the congregation
Yeah, that's good.
by finding that site. Okay.
Yeah. So again, just FYI, you know, your new site